Funding for this program provided by S&H Blinds and Floors. Everyone, and welcome once again to TW Teleproductions North Coast Game of the Week. And what a great sight that is inside the Stroh Center, the beautiful Stroh Center at Bowling Green State University. Regional championship game between Margaretta Polar Bears and the Ottawa Glandorf Titans. Those are the people waiting to get in the place. The kids are loose playing a little game of rugby or football, whatever they want to do, but that's the beautiful venue. That is a nice follow-up to Anderson Arena for sure. The Baybell Restaurant and the Bayview Center Bait Shop in Bayview bringing you our pregame activities for this North Coast Game of the Week. And it's first time, it's a generational thing.
Straight on me. Get in it, Steven.
Yeah. That's great stuff. It is a regional championship between Margaretta and Ottawa Glandorf. First time in 92 years that the Polar Bears have played in a regional championship game. The Polar Bear is ready. The fans are ready. This is a student section located at the end of the arena. And I'll tell you what, the Green Wave did not disappoint once again as head coach Steve Keller watches his team get ready for this game. The green and white took up the whole far side of the arena and that east end as well where the students are, as they were there roaring in approval. And, of course, they had to be there in numbers to compete with the Ottawa Glandorf faithful, who traveled in numbers as well. We've talked about Margaretta as a community before, how well they follow their student athletes. And, of course, Ottawa Glandorf's the same story, and they've got a great tradition of just about any sport they compete well in, and you have to contend with them when you get to this level. It's almost an automatic. The Polar Bears getting set. Gage Bodie in, unfortunately, what would end up being his final game as a Polar Bear. But, boy, you're going to see an inspired effort out of him and some of the other guys as well. And those two guys are looking like they know what they're talking about. Trying, anyway. Myself and Jim Caldwell getting set for the radio broadcast. And some of the young Polar Bears, yep, they start them early in Castalia. From the time they're out of the womb, they're at the games, they're watching, and they're playing, and they're getting themselves set for a great career ahead. And you can see the arena filled already as Margaretta gets ready to come out onto the floor. This game actually ended up being a night game. It was supposed to be earlier in the day, a 1 o'clock game, but the Ottawa Glandorf girls were at the state semifinals the very same day. And state finals, I guess, actually, and they ended up losing out to Columbus Afrocentric. Boy, does that sound like a familiar phrase. But they moved it out of convenience because these games would have been going on at the same time, which wouldn't have been fair for Ottawa Glandorf fans. So this game moved into the nighttime instead, and it gave Ottawa Glandorf plenty of time to travel up 75 and into Bowling Green to watch this one as well. You can see the Polar Bear fans in numbers, dressed in all sorts of different fashions, which is part of the fun of all this stuff. Hey, when it only happens once every 92 years, you got to get all in. That's what I'm talking about. Polar Bears at 24-3 entering the ball game, and Ottawa Glandorf at 23-3. Fourth time in a row Ottawa Glandorf has advanced to this level. Pre-game for Baybell Restaurant and the Bayview Center Bait Shop, both located, of course, in Bayview. The brain trust of the Polar Bears that have taken this team to the regional finals with one senior that plays a lot. Two seniors on the roster. There's the mom and dad of head coach Steve Keller Jr. Your fan of the week is up next, and it's brought to you by Snow Trails Winter Resort located in Mansfield.
Oh my God, it's like straight on me. Get in it, Steven. Yeah! Get in!
He got them all involved. How could he not be our fan of the week? It's for Snow Trails Winter Resort, located in the heart of fun in Ohio, in Mansfield. And now we're set to go. Margaretta and Ottawa Glandorf. Opening tip-off is coming up next. It's your North Coast Game of the Week, and it is a regional championship on the line for a trip to the Final Four in Dayton. Hang around, stay tuned. You'll see how it all uncorks next on the Game of the Week. Our first quarter is being brought to you by the Old Fish House in Huron. They've got knickknacks and snacks, and most importantly, all those accurate BS facts. The Old Fish House in Huron. This is always fun for radio announcers when they turn out all the lights and it's like, boom, you're reading something and all of a sudden you can't see a thing. The eyes need to adjust. And this is kind of neat when you're at the Stroh Center because the whole game story is unveiled for you at both ends of the arena on both the big scoreboards they have. So you pretty much know what's going on the entire contest. All the lights shining on the Polar Bears now as Judy Keller makes his entrance after his introduction. Saw Gage Bodie and now Tyson Bailey coming out of the tunnel and onto the chute. And there's a young man who missed most of the season for Ottawa Glandorf, Dave Westrick. But he has really been a good boost for them coming on late in the season at 6'7". Gage Bodie with the early chance to put Margaretta on top. But it doesn't happen. So Ottawa Glandorf goes into their offense for the first time. Now, of course, 22 is a young man to watch for them, although it's Grant Schrader, a 6'1 senior, who knocks down the first basket of the night, and it's from distance. And this is what Ottawa Glandorf does. They just trap and press all night long. Number 22 is Colin White. He's a young man who is an Ohio State commit. He'll play all over the floor here in high school. He is 6'6". He can shoot it. He can dunk it. He can defend. And he is going to Ohio State as a guard. And you'll see why. This is just a very talented young man. And you'll also catch the early drift here that Ottawa Glandorf loves to shoot threes. They're not bashful in the least. First basket of the night comes from Gage Bodie, who also drew a foul and will head to the free throw line to try and tie the ball game. So it is a 3-2 Ottawa Glandorf lead early in the contest. Their point guard, number 4, is Grant Tomazos, averaging 6.9 per game. Colin White with the ball out in front right there, 24.9 points and 5.6 rebounds per game. He scored over 1,900 points in his career, and you'll see him in the scarlet and gray next year at Ohio State. It'll be fun to see what he can do now that they've actually got a coach that hopefully knows what to do with him. Congratulations to Jake Diebler and his assignment as Ohio State head coach permanently, which was really neat to see. Of course, his dad, Keith, the head boys coach at Danbury. Good defense by Tyson Bailey. And Colin White with his first basket of the ball game puts OG up 5-2. Press is not designed actually to steal the ball all the time or that type of thing. It's just basically designed to force you into playing a kind of tempo you're not used to or you're not comfortable with and force you into committing turnovers. And Margaretta didn't commit an overwhelmingly large amount of turnovers, but the problem being that Ottawa Glandorf, no, that ball was in bounds. I'm sorry. And that's what Gage is trying to say. Hey, that should be our ball, and it should be. Look at this. That is not out of bounds. The ball did not touch out of bounds. It was hanging over the line, but it did not touch over the line. And that's what Gage is pleading right now. But as usual, it's just kind of falling on deaf ears. So it goes to OG. And this is another thing that the Titans do so well is they attack the basket. Dave Westrick to the line for a pair. He'll get 1 out of 2 and increase the Ottawa Glandorf lead to 4. Margaretta starting out a little bit tight here. This is nothing for Ottawa Glandorf. It's 4 years in a row they've been here, for crying out loud. So this is just a stage they're used to. For Margaretta, you're talking the first time in, 92 years. They did play on the court the other night, a few nights previous to this. However, a lot more on the line in this one tonight. Out front, Alex Wager off the bench, a 6'2 senior wearing number 1. White. Back for Schrader out top, and then the 3-ball again. Ripped down by Colin White and scored by White for an 8-2 Ottawa Glandorf lead. Quick timeout for Margaretta. Quick timeout to say special thanks to all of the local businesses that support the North Coast Game of the Week. There's your Civista Bank scoreboard telling the early story. Gage Bodie trying to cut into that lead, but it is rebounded on the backside by Ross Magg off the Ottawa Glandorf bench. A reaching foul going to be called in there on Tate Bailey. Halfway through the first quarter, and Ottawa Glandorf in early control. You can see Margaretta's defense never stops either. Keller and Bodie forcing the turnover, and this is a good feature right here called Bringing the Heat for Gunlock Sheet Metal Works. Heating, air conditioning, plumbing, and refrigeration since 1889. Watch where this all breaks down. We got Bodie. Now, from behind, Tyson Bailey. Keller knocks it away. Loose on the floor. Bodie on the floor. Gets it off to Tyson Bailey, and away go the Polar Bears. That's Bringing the Heat, Polar Bear style, for Gunlock Sheet Metal Works on Columbus Avenue, just south of 5 Points in Sandusky. Polar Bears working the perimeter here, looking for something to open in the paint, but again, these guys are so huge, long, and athletic. It's a difficult team to operate against. Grant Schrader, he's the pipsqueak at 6'1". Tomazos at 6 feet. Then you get into Westrick at 6'7", White at 6'6". Caden Erford, he's at 5'10". He'll knock him down from all over the place. That's Tomazos right there to make it a 10-2 lead, an 8-point advantage before Gage Bodie answers back for the Bears. Well, finally, Margaretta gets their first basket since early, a minute into the contest. And all four of the Polar Bear points early in the game from the lone Polar Bear senior in the starting lineup. There's Julian Washington on the break for the Bears. 4 straight points, gets them back to within 4. It's a nice job of ball control by Washington after kind of fumbling it around. Gets it back as he's going up to the basket and lays it in perfectly. Colin White lengthens that lead back out to 7 on a 3-point play the old-fashioned way. Basket and free throw. And Margaretta fighting an uphill battle here in the first quarter. Referees did let a lot of physical contact go. They let them play. Sometimes you try and find that borderline between how much is too much. Judah Keller, nice basket attack right there for 2. And the Bears are back to within 5. Another look for Matthews Ford at Keller weaving his way around Alex Wager to the basket. And it's a 13-8 Ottawa Glandorf lead. You can see the clock in the background down to 1.5 minutes left to play in this first quarter of the regional finals. Colin White gets that pull-up jumper. Rebounded by Bailey on the loose ball outside. And then the foul on White, which really excites the Polar Bears. It's Nolan Wiley wearing number 20 off the bench, and Cale Bailey wearing number 5 off the bench for Margaretta. Cale Bailey, distance. And the Bears are back to within 2. This is a freshman off the bench, shooting it over Fortman, who is 6'4", and hitting nothing but net. The fearless freshman, Cale Bailey. Bailey on defense right there. And the foul on Judy Keller, trying to wrestle that ball away with just 25 seconds to go in the quarter. Ottawa Glandorf, the 2-point lead, will start milking that clock down a little bit and looking for that final shot in quarter number 1. They had as much as an 8-point lead at 10-2, and Margaretta now on a 9-3 run to get it back down to within 2. So it took a while for the Bears to get on their feet, but once they did, they're hanging tough with the Titans down by 2 after 1 quarter at BG. Quarter number 2 brought to you by Hartung Title, who's proudly been supporting local athletics for generations across the North Coast. Hartung Title. Here's your Civista Bank scoreboard after 1 quarter. It's feeling pretty good here after being down by 8 and rattling it back down to a 2-point ball game as we enter the second quarter. Margaretta's defense answers the bell on the first possession of the second quarter. Penetration by Keller, rebounded initially by Bailey, poked away until Tyson gets it back and then gets tied up for the jump ball by Dave Westrick. Both these clubs get after it hard. There's no doubt about that. Here's Keller on the original shot, which is rebounded by Bailey. Did a nice job of taking on Caden Erford. And as Bailey tries to keep that ball moving, Westrick, the one who ties him up. Ball stays with Margaretta. And Julian Washington, time to go to work with that left hand. That's 7 straight points for the Bears, who have now tied the game at 13. This is paving the way for Hermes Parker Concrete of Sandusky. Worth another look here as Bailey finds Washington popping out, and then one-on-one against the Ohio State recruit, White. Nice work with that left hand. That kind of stuff just comes from playing a lot of basketball. Julian Washington for the tie. That's paving the way for Hermes Parker Concrete Limited of Sandusky. So 7 straight points for the Polar Bears, and we're knotted up for the first time in the ballgame ever since Ottawa Glandorf scored the first 3. Margaretta's defense again answering the challenge, and now the Bears with a chance to grab their first lead of the game. Washington rattles the rim with that one and out of bounds to Ottawa Glandorf. White unable to finish the drive, and Julian Washington swipes the rebound. And that close to giving Margaretta their first lead. Grant Schrader. Now Tomazos. Another opening for the Bears. And this time a reaching foul to be called on Grant Schrader, wearing number 3. And Julian Washington for the first Margaretta lead of the ball game at 15-13, and that completes a 9-point run. Unfazed by all of it, Caden Erford on the putback attempt right here. Will get fouled from behind by Tate Bailey and head to the free throw line for 2. And they don't miss a lot of these. Erford, 14.7 points per ball game on the year, and he ties the ball game back up at 15 apiece. So Margaretta had the lead. However, it didn't last long. Now trying to restake their claim before White comes up with a steal and the lead basket for the Titans. And once again, he'll convert to three-point play to make it an 18-15 Titans lead. Rebound again by Colin White. Oh, what a blessing to have a young man who's 6'6", can rebound the heck out of the ball and then lead the break up the floor. That's Schrader at the line, knocking down 1 out of 2 to give Ottawa Glandorf a 4-point advantage on our Civista Bank scoreboard. Keller just off the back iron, off that pull-up jumper. Everybody on that Ottawa Glandorf team can rebound the ball. Even Grant Schrader, 6'1" senior. And that quickly, they answer the 9-point Margaretta run with an 8-point run of their own. And Ottawa Glandorf is back up by 6. That forces another Margaretta timeout. Thanks to the following businesses for supporting the North Coast Game of the Week: Matthews Ford, Cook Aluminum, Hermes Parker Concrete, Wake Up and Waffle, Noble Fun, Schmid Architects, Steinemann Hafner Insurance, Payne Nicholson Company, Sandusky Steel and Supply, Gnomes Podiatric Medicine, nice baseline cut by Erford. And all of a sudden, it's a 10-point run. Margaretta from a 2-point lead into an 8-point deficit. Nice find by Keller. And Tyson Bailey will end the 10-point run and get the Bears back to within 6. This is your team play of the game for Tarina and the team at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Professional Realty. Washington for Keller in the corner. And then Judah does a nice job of spotting Bailey, working his way clear and worming his way around Colin White to the basket for 2. And it inches the Polar Bears back to within 6 at 23-17. Live, laugh, love, and list with Tarina Sidoti, Realtor at Berkshire Hathaway Home Services Professional Realty, and your team play of the game. Aren't those lovely pants the official is wearing? White with a nice feed into the paint. Schrader was unable to finish, but Erford does. And it's a 25-17 ball game. Tyson Bailey gets the Bears right back to within 6 at the other end. 25-19. Here's your pancake play of the game for the Sandusky Bay Pancake House since 1966. And this is going to be a $10 gift card, again for Tyson Bailey, who gets that little jump hook to roll in. Nice touch on the basketball. And that is pancake time for Tyson Bailey as he gets the Bears back to within 6 points again. Your pancake play of the game for Sandusky Bay Pancake House on Route 250, right in front of the Meijer store. Rebound from Mag. Julian Washington taking the loose ball and now wins the battle for the roll on the floor. And at the other end, Tate Bailey gets Margaretta back to within 4. Here comes your play of the game, which is brought to you by Civista Bank. Focused on you. These Margaretta Polar Bears just don't stop. Hustling everywhere on the floor. Washington on the block and takeaway. Where's Austin Carr? We need Eden. Get that weak stuff out of here. And then the battle for the loose ball, won by Washington. And the first thing he does is beelines the other direction and gets that nice little bounce pass down low to Tate Bailey, who will lay it home with the left hand. And Margaretta again back to within 4 at 25-21. That is your play of the game for Civista Bank. Focused on you. Unfortunately, Ottawa Glandorf has that guy out front wearing number 22. When the going gets tough, the cream rises to the top. And there he is, spotting up for three and draining it for three. And it's a 7-point lead again for OG. Margaretta doing its thing and answering right back the other way as they force the tempo down the floor. And Washington, it's Margaretta back to within 5. Margaretta does what Margaretta does, and this is it. Get it down the floor. If you've got a good open shot early, do it. And Washington knocks it down to make it a 28-23 ball game. Burford with the left hand, unable to get it to fall. Colin White in attack mode. Now for Erford out front, and all of a sudden the attack mode switches to the stall mode. Signs of good business up next. Please support these local area businesses. Brady Signs, the Bay Bell Restaurant, Crush Wine Bar, J Bistro, Cameo Pizza, S&H Blinds and Floors, Pizza House West, Groff Family Services, Remax Quality Realty, Linda Armstrong and the A-Team, Fosco Cement, so Margaretta defending this right here and giving White lots of room out front. You see Washington guarding the ball out front. Margaretta ran a 1-2-2 zone for a good part of that first half. See the Ottawa Glandorf fans in the background cheering their team on with a 5-point lead. Margaretta fans had somewhat of a different reaction, although you can see them across the way standing up and cheering for their defense. After falling behind 10-2 early in this game, the Bears came back and actually took a brief 2-point lead here in the second quarter before Ottawa Glandorf ran off 10 straight to again lead by 8. Margaretta has that whittled down to within 5 at halftime. You would think that Colin White would take the last shot of the half, rebounded by Washington, and that'll do it for the first half, with OG leading by 5 for a regional championship at the Stroh Center from BG. Third quarter is up next, being brought to you by Restore Pro, Disaster Cleanup and Restoration. Third quarter for a regional championship brought to you by James Rusat, CPA, Income Tax and Accounting. There's your Civista Bank scoreboard and the halftime story showing Ottawa Glandorf up by 5. Again, not bad when you consider Margaretta on several occasions was down by 8 in that first half, but they wouldn't let Ottawa Glandorf out of their sights. It's not a team you want to let too far out of your sights, but unfortunately it is Grady Tomazos, their point guard, who gets the second half started well for them, stretching that lead back out to 7. Margaretta started the first half somewhat on a slow pace, scoring-wise. And unfortunately, the second half would be much the same way. The 10-2 deficit didn't help early, but having a slow third quarter really hurt the Bears in this one. Tomazos to the floor and back. And finds Colin White out front. The Titans are a team that just can hurt you in so many different ways. That time it was Tomazos just off on the long ball. So the Polar Bears take a shot at putting a dent in that 7-point advantage. Tate Bailey just seems to have that foul whistle fouling him around tonight. Thanks to the following local businesses for supporting the North Coast Game of the Week. Good Time Lake Erie Cruises, Wake Up and Waffle, Schmid Architects, Shorehouse Tavern, The Crimus Company, Pizza House West. Once again, sitting around just kind of watching the game. She had the nerve to take a picture of me during pregame and post it on social media. Attacked me when I wasn't looking.
Back at you.
Yeah, it's very difficult to get her back on radio. It's fun, though, on the North Coast Game of the Week, as you see, yeah, she does take pictures once in a while. Tate Bailey at the free throw line to knock down a pair and get the Polar Bears back to within 7 once again. Ottawa Glandorf fans made the transition from the first half. Remember, they were all dressed in blue in the first half, and now, magically, they're all white. Good stop for the Polar Bears on that possession. Bailey with that pull-up jump shot is banged off the back of the iron. Washington, great job of saving it. Can't take advantage. So many different ways this team hurt you. I told you before, Caden Erford is a radar shooter. Averages 14.7 per game, and he starts to heat up in the second half, which doesn't help anything. And now for the first time in the game, it's a double-digit deficit for Margaretta at 35-25. Washington. Johnny on the spot. You get the Bears back again to within 7 with the long ball. I guess that one actually was inside the line, so it's an 8-point deficit at 35-27. This is Grady Tomazos. Hayden Erford with that baseline fake, well defended by Tyson Bailey. Tomazos making his way to the basket, but Margaretta's defense answers the challenge, and Tyson Bailey gets rejected by Westrick. And at the other end, here comes Colin White. Now, tell me how he did that. Just magically weaving his way through traffic. Here's some signs of good business. Please support these local area establishments. Capizzi's Pizzeria, Noble Axes, Wendy's, the Marketplace downtown, Diedrich Motors, Murray and Murray, Hartung Title, Wake Up and Waffle, This is Colin White. And he's going to head to the free throw line. A pair at the line for White. First time that they've led by as many as 12 at 39-27. Again, here's what the press does. Just forces you into mistakes if things aren't going well. Now again, Ottawa Glandorf with a chance to increase their lead. You can see the look of disgust on Judy Keller's face. It's like, that one extra stab at the ball cost him on that one. White on the baseline. And that kind of gets everybody excited that's wearing blue and gold. And I mean, he's got defense there. But watch this. There's two, right by two defenders. And with defense coming at him, he still rams that thing home. And then pumps up the crowd. 41-27, now a 14-point lead. But you know, when things start looking down a little bit, just find Washington. And now Julian to the line. That's outmaneuvering the Ohio State recruit right there, and he's kind of letting them know it a little bit. It's your by-the-numbers play of the game for James Roussat, CPA, income tax, and accounting. Margaretta running with the ball. And you've got to defend Julian out there because he'll knock those down. So he blows by Erford. White tries to get him, and Julian says, I don't care what school you're going to. You're not stopping me now. That's your by-the-numbers play of the game, and it's brought to you by James Roussat, CPA, income tax, and accounting. Washington completing the three-point play, and Margaretta gets it back to within 11. Well, that's a nice find by Tomazos. And Schrader balking that there should have been a foul called. Then the foul gets called there. And Coach McLaughlin from Ottawa Glandorf, well, why didn't we get one down here? It's a steal by the Titans. And here they come. Caden Erford. 43-30. Cale Bailey. How's that for a freshman taking on an Ohio State recruit? That's why we call him the fearless freshman. Man, I'm telling you what, this kid is unfazed by anything. Go ahead. See ya. It's two more for the Margaretta freshman. 43-32. Bears back to within 11. Tomazos unable to get it to drop. And there's Erford on the defense for Ottawa Glandorf. Working their way down toward the end of the third quarter once again. Where they did this at the end of the second quarter, and it didn't really pay off for them. Tate Bailey keeping an eye on Erford. Draws a personal foul, and off the inbounds, Colin White. And one with only 2.6 seconds left in the third. So this time the milking of the clock works successfully. A three-point play makes it a 14-point lead for the Titans after three at the Stroh Center. Fourth quarter up next, brought to you by the Baybell Restaurant and the Bayview Center Bait Shop, both located, of course, in Bayview. And sponsored by Toft Funeral Home and Crematory. on Columbus Avenue, just south of the underpass. Can't get us Polar Bear fans down, man. 14-point deficit heading into the fourth quarter, and the reason being that Ottawa Glandorf outscored the Bears 18-9 in the third, and that would be an awful lot to try and overcome. But you can never count the Polar Bears out because you got Judy Keller attacking the basket and one. 12-point game until Keller knocks down the free throw to make it a 46-35 Ottawa Glandorf advantage. The only thing you can say about Ottawa Glandorf that is pleasing is the fact that Caden Erford, Colin White, Dave Westrick, and Grant Schrader, four of their starters, are seniors. Won't be worrying about them next year. After Erford increased the lead to 13, Margaretta failed to get it fall, so again, Ottawa Glandorf with a chance to increase that 13-point lead at 48-35. Well, we got bodies crashing down all over the place underneath the basket. Judy Keller, the rebound, the run out that stopped at mid-floor with a trap. You know, when you watch Ottawa Glandorf defend, it's almost like they've got 6 defenders on the floor. You throw over the top of the trap, you normally get a pretty good look at attacking the basket, but they're still there to stop it. Well, the Polar Bear defense making it difficult on Colin White that time. And Gage Bodie goes the other way. And then we'll stride to the free throw line. This is just flat-out determination to get to the basket by Bodie. There was Schrader trying to draw the charge, but not there in time. Both players going down hard, but both players peeling themselves right back up. And Bodie will make this a 12-point game at 48-36. This is just a team that's awfully hard to fight back against because you see all the different weapons they've got. As we head to the free throw line with Erford, we head to a North Coast moment with Shores and Islands, Ohio, bringing it to you once again here on the Game of the Week. That's what they say with the water is like glass. There's just not a whole lot of movement out there whatsoever, except all the seagulls flapping around. Typical Sandusky Bay look across the water to the coal docks from downtown Sandusky. Even on a cloudy day, it's a great North Coast moment, and it's always brought to you by Shores and Islands, Ohio. Erford trying for a three-point play. He'll miss on the free throw, and the lead for Ottawa Glandorf stays at 14. Julian Washington again, grinding to the basket for a 50-38 ball game. And every time you get close like that, you need the stop to really make any kind of move on these guys whatsoever. But saying you need a stop and getting a stop are two different stories against these guys. Colin White with the backside rebound and putback. And again, it's 14 points at 52-38. And White on the board with 4.5 minutes left to play. And Margaretta down at this point by a couple of touchdowns. Trying to hit the cutter in the paint. Tate Bailey there to break it up. Judah Keller. Rebounded up by Tyson Bailey, and the Bears just couldn't get it to drop. Not a whole lot of people dressed in green that agreed with that last call by Mr. Official, including head coach Steve Keller. Thanks to the following local businesses for their support of the North Coast Game of the Week: Daly's Pub, UBS Financial Services, Fidelity National Title, Leslie Murray Law, The Landmark Kitchen and Bar, Luco, O.E. Meyer Company Propane Division, Pizza Brothers, Fosco Cement, Groff Family Services, Murray & Murray, Mags Automotive, Toft Funeral Home and Crematory, Linda Armstrong Remax. There's the story on the Civista Bank scoreboard. This seems like 14 is that magic number. The Bears can't make a real solid move. Biggest difference in this game, when you really start breaking down numbers, is that Margaretta committed 8 turnovers in this game. Now, that's not really a horrible number of turnovers. However, off those 8 turnovers, Ottawa Glandorf scored 16 points. Ottawa Glandorf committed just 5 turnovers in the game. Margaretta never scored off those turnovers. There's your difference. Signs of good business up next. Gunlock Sheet Metal Works Incorporated, Schmid Architects, Mags Automotive and Machine, Holler Furnace and Sheet Metal, Crush Wine Bar, David F. Cook Funeral and Cremation Services, Pizza Brothers, Dockside Cafe, O.E. Meyer Company Propane Division, Toft Funeral Home and Crematory, at this point, Margaretta down by 14. And the foul being called on Tate Bailey would be his 5th. So that gets Cale Bailey off the bench for the Bears. And Tate just always goes hard for these guys. There's so many great things to make this a better basketball team. Margaretta's defense. And you could see, unfortunately, Washington just kind of losing his footing. Still almost put that ball in the hole.
It was real close.
Colin White is joining with the officials a little bit. Yeah, it might have been real close, but it's Margaretta ball. And the Bears really needing baskets right here. Just unable to turn it into points. And, of course, at this point of the game, with a 14-point lead, Ottawa Glandorf can just kind of start putting it into cruise control and take their time a little bit and work that clock. Until they get Alex Wager turn it into a 16-point lead. That would be the biggest of the ball game for OG. Good job on the pull-up jumper by Judah Keller to make it a 54-40 ball game. And right now, of course, that clock, the biggest enemy that the Polar Bears have. Especially when you got a team that can milk it so well like these guys do. Grant Schrader at the free throw line. One out of two makes it a 15-point game. Gage Bodie with what would amount to be his final 3 points as the Polar Bears. He knocks it down from deep with 59 seconds left to play. And Margaretta back to within 12 at 55-43. You could see the spirit that was between these two teams, but the respect that also is there. Grant Tomazos at the free throw line for Ottawa Glandorf, and that would pretty much close down the scoring with two free throws, 57-43. We mentioned the turnovers being a big difference in the ball game, not in the number of turnovers. It's just the fact that Ottawa Glandorf does such a good job of cashing in on those turnovers when they are committed. I mean, Margaretta loses by 14, but they are outscored on points off turnovers 16-0. And now the final curtain call for the season. Final one of his career for Gage Bodie, but the final one for the starters also for this year. And getting their salute from the fans and coaching staff alike at the sidelines. And, you know, any loss hurts at this level. However, when you flash back on the season, Margaretta's got nothing but great things to look back on. A record-setting season as far as wins in a season with 24, first regional appearance since 92 years ago. Gage Bodie, the only player in Margaretta history to appear in 2 regional tournaments for the Bears. And the list goes on and on and on. I don't think these guys ever realize, and I'm sure they would never think about the fact that all we can do as media members is say thanks for all the entertainment, guys, because this is a fun basketball team to watch. And I had a member of the Lima media come to me after the game, and he said, and he pointed right over at the Polar Bears bench and said, that's the team to beat next year. So much youth on this basketball team. They all receive individual lanyards. Gage Bodie getting his final curtain call. And man, what an inspirational leader that young man turned out to be for this basketball team. We salute him, wish him best of luck in the future as he moves on to a football career at Ohio Dominican. And great job, Bears. We look forward to seeing you back again next year. And what they say will be the new norm for Margaretta basketball. Thanks for joining us. Always good to have you with us on TW Teleproductions Game of the Week.